Well, the Aussie boys were clinging on for dear life. That matchup right there was very much a back and forth affair. Neo, I know you were crossing your fingers, your toes. Everything was crossed for the Aussie boys, but ultimately, Pain Gaming well and truly did manage to bring the pain and a world of it at that.
Yeah, it was a tough one to watch me because I want the Aussie boys to go through because I can fulfill my duty as an honorary Aussie. But at the same time, I absolutely love Pain. They're one of my favourite teams to watch at the moment. I think in their run of form, they are one of the best teams to watch, especially on maps like Nuke. So I was in two minds, but you know, it was a great game either way.
And you could see them as they were walking off the stage as well. Not too big of a celebration, feeling relatively confident and comfortable in their own ability there. Almost like they had pretty much known they were going to win out that game. Although, I got to admit, to the folks at home, to you guys here on the desk as well, there are some times where I was like, why is this game as close as it is? Especially when we spoke about how much of a dominant team the side of Pain Gaming were. But I think it's about time we check on in with Conky and also with Skulls to see how they're feeling after that match.
Well, I've got to admit, it's certainly the Brazilians that have brought the pain today. It's been an awesome game, and I've got one of the standouts right next to me from the matchup. Skulls, mate, you popped off. How are you guys feeling after that one?
It's a great feeling. I think we are very prepared for this match. So it's very good to win against them.
Yeah, you guys definitely look really comfortable. You had a really, really awesome T side. It did get a little bit closer on towards that CT, but you guys got calm and collected and closed it out. So yeah, I guess that was really good, yeah?
Yeah, I think on the CT side we played and we lost some rounds that it wasn't supposed to lost. So it was more our mistake. So I think we stayed very calm and collected and keep the game on our side.
Fantastic. No, it's absolutely awesome to hear that. And you guys have had a really busy time, right? You guys just recently run, obviously, your section of the Road to Rio, and it's been busy time in general. So how have you settled into Australia so far?
Yeah, I think the jet lag is kind of hard on our side, but it's amazing to be here. We didn't have much practice because since the rosters came up together, we're running with the clock, so it's been kind of hard, but I think we are playing very well.
Well, it's fantastic to watch, and you guys have got an even more exciting one coming up against Imperial later on today. So what's your thoughts for that one?
Yeah, it's going to be a very good match. I think every Brazilian wants to see that match, so let's make it a show.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys heard the man. It's going to be an awesome one coming up later on, but for now, we'll send it back to the desk to wrap up.
Now, whilst I'm curious to hear just a little bit more about the likes of Skulls, I think we should head on over to our Asus head-to-head and check out the stats in particular for the two players that are Zevi and Alistair, the two AWPers here. Now, do you want to kind of pick this one apart for me in terms of the stats of these two players?
Yeah, I mean, I highlighted Zevi coming into this game. I mean, he is ridiculous. I mean, the mechanically unbelievable. And Alistair on his day is as well. There was moments of brilliance from him, but I just think time and time again, Zevi was given too much space and too much of those opportunities to win those AWP battles. And that's a tough thing. But Alistair, he's one of those players who needs a little bit of confidence to get going, really. And he couldn't find it because Zevi was constantly in his face.
Yeah, he was. But when we switched to the T side, I felt like when Alistair was actually on the AK, he performed much better than when he had the AWP in his hands. We saw that 1 versus 1 brilliant clutch. He flashbanged himself, but he managed to get a ridiculous frag there anyway. And that was kind of supposed to be that key moment for them, where they're kind of turning it around back into their favor. But sadly, that wasn't the way it panned out in the end.
Now, Hedge, I need you to break down the mystery that is the side of Pain Gaming's economy. Break this one apart for me, because it was a little bit of a question mark for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think Skulls was talking about how they were winning some of they were losing some rounds that they were not supposed to lose. But at the same time, they were also winning rounds that they were not supposed to win. I would call them the Brazilian mystery rounds, where they will have some players buy up something and they're kind of stacking it up such that they have still money to buy the next round. But these rounds with the pistols, with the Deagles, with the CZ, with some SMGs, like they always play those out to win them. Like if it's super aggressive or if it's some play that they've agreed upon beforehand, it seemed like in those kind of rounds, if you give them a little finger, they will eat your hand. And there was a couple of rounds there which we thought were in the bag for Greyhound that Pain just absolutely brought it
I feel like that might just be a case of the confident, aggressive Brazilian playstyle at the end of the day. But Neo, as we take a look at some of the Skulls replays, I want you to pick apart his previous experiences and give me a little bit of info regarding his background.
Yeah, Skulls has got a really interesting story. He played with Team 1 for a bit, and it's a very decent roster domestically, but he didn't play for them for too long, and then Skulls kind of disappeared for a little bit. He kind of fell off the map. He was playing in a bunch of mixers for a little while, and everyone was kind of thinking, okay, well, what's next for him? He didn't really get the opportunity too much to shine in Team 1. He was playing these random mixes, and Grant's actually doing some decent work kind of in the local scene, and then sort of out of nowhere, the kind of this question comes about paying. He gets picked up alongside Zevi. Zevi's the big name in terms of, I think his buyout was kind of $300,000, like ridiculous money, the buyout for Zevi. And then you look towards Skulls, it's like, well, can he keep up this level? He's only been playing in mixers, hasn't really been playing in Team CS all too much. Will he be able to keep up with them? And it does that and more. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant. And we take a look through some of these highlights. He was unbelievable. And the good thing about Skulls is that he's consistently good for multi-kills. He's always able to find the man advantage and the more, and continuously allow his team to find success. I mean, Skulls really, really impressed me. And kind of all these question marks that are eluding him. Will he be able to play Team CS? Will he be able to keep up since he's only been in mixers and he's a pug god, or he's showing he can?
Yeah. As we take a look at some of our match stats, though, Hedge, do you feel like there were any other kind of standout players, especially when we consider the Aussie boys on the side of Greyhound?
Yeah, I think it was great to watch Lias perform again. He managed to get out of some situation where he should never have been able to escape. And I will also give the hats off to Hats, you know, being the stand-in and kind of having that pressure off his shoulders. I think he really was able to show what he could be capable of, like the last hooray, perhaps.
Exactly, and that was the thing we were kind of hoping about Hats. You know, he's got no pressure anymore. Just play your game, have fun, and you could see he was having fun. You could go to the camera, he was laughing, enjoying himself, and he's really doing a good job. I do want to highlight one player for me who I just love watching, which is Big Azera. He's the most dedicated entry in the world. Doesn't matter who you're looking towards. He always, CT or T-side, is looking for entry kills. And I think that requires a kind of a certain mindset to really be able to consistently just constantly looking for those opening kills. And it brings Payne a lot of success. We saw it time and time again. On that T-side, Big Azera, 1-2 kills, opening up the A-side, dropping down vent, finding space, finding opportunities. That's the kind of player, the selfless player you want on your side.
Especially when we consider that 3K that you rounded out that final round on as well. Absolutely beautiful stuff. But as we take a look at our Group B now, the next matchup is indeed going to end up being Imperial Esports versus Payne Gaming over on the side of Group B. And then over in the lower bracket, we've got Vertex versus Greyhound. The Aussie boys, I'm curious to hear that roar, but I'm even more curious to see which of these two teams is going to have the majority backing of the crowd, but also the folks in Twitch chat. Well, after the break, we're going to be diving into OG versus Entropiq. You don't want to miss this one.
wherever I go.
You got me feeling some way, like I might be stuck in a dream. Let's stay here till the day breaks, feeling like I never wanna leave. Keep moving till the sunrise. You're taking my mind out to sea. Fall in love at low tide. I'm thinking we should never leave. So let's keep going till the night is almost gone. 'Cause I feel like singing Let's keep going till the night is almost gone. 'Cause I feel like singing watch me go. You came in with heart? And if I met you in the middle, babe, would you give me all your love? Come and meet me in the middle, babe, and I give you all of my heart. And if I met you in the middle, babe, would you give me all your love? Would you give me all your love? Could you give me all your love? Could you give me all your love? Come and meet me in the middle, babe, and I'll give you all of my heart. And if I meet you in the middle, babe, would you give me all your love? Could you give me all your love? Would you give me all your love? Could you give me all your
I'm a wall of danger, and I'm addicted to the wild and nature. If you give me your heart, I'll break it. I've been known to lie, I've been known to lie. I was sitting all alone on the sidewalk when you caught me by surprise. I'm a lone wolf, I die by my own rules. I know when to follow my prey, and now it's right in front of me. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. I'm not of the mayhem. I would chase 100 more highs to trade them. In it for chaos I'm creating. I've been known to lie, I've been known to lie. I was sitting all alone on the sidewalk when you caught me by surprise. I'm a lone wolf, I die by my own rules. I know when to follow my prey, and now it's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. Right in front of me. Right in front of me.
So you say you got a new one. I know that you're trying to believe that you can fake a whole scenario just to make me jealous. Your shadow keeps talking, and we should stop talking, but we got that special something. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now I just be breathing, doing nothing. I won't give in if you won't make a move right now. Oh, why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. Won't you let me know? Why do we go 360? You're hesitating, now it's busy. You know we always can go easy. You should let me know. Oh, I will be clear now. Patience is really not my key, but if you play your cards right, I might just think about it twice. Yeah. Say it like you mean it, I won't fake it and believe it when I see it. But for now I just be breathing, doing nothing. I
ESL Challenger is brought to you in part by Intel, Asus, Republic of Gamers, DHL, Monster Energy, and 1xBet.
I would say every team is very difficult because we don't get the same European CS from anybody here. Like Entropiq are the most similar, I would say, but we know that they're good and they have good players, but I think they are the ones that would give us the most challenge, as I would think. But also Greyhound, I think, I don't really remember how they play. Like last time I played against them was, I think, I Am Cologne in 2021. I just think we really need to see how they play, even Wings Up at the start, like how they do play, because I don't really understand like the metas like over different continents. So we just need to really figure out how they play, and again, as long as we play our style and we are sharp, we're shooting sharp, we should win every game possible in this tournament.
Very interesting points there being made by Flames over on the side of OG. We did mention this before, and we heard him mention it before as well in a previous game, that, you know what, they've not necessarily had the most amount of time to prep following Blast heading into this tournament here. Now, for them, I feel like obviously their previous matchup was against none other than Wings Up. Potentially the reason for which that game was such a close affair is, yes, Wings Up have given us one heck of a fight along the way, but also OG might not have been expecting Wings Up to give us such a dominant performance.
I think what Flames mentioned there, which I really kind of pick up on, was we don't really know what kind of Wings Up are going to bring. We don't really know that the meta's over, and I think that was very clear. They really didn't know the meta, and I think it's safe to say they didn't really put too much prep into Wings Up, because the standard defaults that Wings Up like to do, which for us doing our research, we know all too well, like burning all the utility early doors and then not making a decision. That's the standard Wings Up, but they were very, very confused when they would see that coming through. So I think it's definitely a case that they maybe were a little bit too overconfident going in towards that game, potentially kind of thinking this should be an easy walk in the park, and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. They were surprisingly good, but I think it was maybe a little bit more the mistakes that the OG made. Just for example, Dexter walking into BFs, pushing very aggressively, thinking he was gonna find nothing there, and there's a guy all the way in the back holding exactly that angle, and kind of stumbling a little bit in the beginning. But they're OG. They figured it out in the end. They pulled it back, and they took that victory.
Well, this next matchup is indeed going to be OG versus Entropiq. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Group B and see how everything... our Group A rather, my bad. Our OG versus Entropiq matchup to see how this one is going to end up unfolding. Over on the lower bracket side of things, we've got Wings Up versus Evil Geniuses. Now, EG, I feel like I was severely disappointed with, to say the very least. Over in their previous matchup, I thought, you know what, maybe they'll be able to give us a little bit more of a fight. Alan had mentioned before he was expecting some of the teams to not even be able to put up double digits, but that was very much the case for the side of EG. Only 4 rounds is what they were able to put up beforehand. The real question is, now in the lower bracket, do you feel like we might see a little bit of fight coming out of them, or do you think it's a bit of a lost cause?
Hopefully. I mean, this EG side have been struggling for a long time, and it's been before they were EG, when they were back in Party Astronauts. I mean, they have really not looked great for a long time, and really struggling, especially on the international stage. Domestically, they've been fine, but NA as a region has been struggling as a whole. When it looks towards the international stage, when they're competing with EU teams, which is just a caliber above, they really do struggle to break them apart.
Yeah, they've had absolutely no success whatsoever internationally. It's rarely that we see them. I would even dare to say it was kind of a surprise that they managed to even qualify for the event.
Yeah, well, let's find out whether or not Twitch chat thinks that this one's going to be a little bit of a surprise. It's going to be none other than OG versus Entropiq. I'm curious to see how the percentage on this one is going to weigh up, because arguably 2 of the strongest and most favorite teams heading into this tournament. I want you to tell me, which team do you think is going to sway the percentage vote?
I'm going to lean in favour of OG, just because they are the favourites in this tournament.
Yeah.
Potentially got a few more fans watching, but I think, it might be quite close, because some of them have been surprisingly close.
Yeah, how about for yourself, Hedje?
Well, I think with the shaky start we saw from OG, maybe actually Entropiq has a little bit of an edge here after all.
Yeah, I feel like for the side of OG though, do you feel like that preparation, that expectation of how Entropiq are going to play is very much there? Much unlike, when they were playing against Wings Up, I feel like their expectations for Entropiq have got to be that much higher.
Yeah, we heard it also in the interview with Flames. They are expecting Entropiq to be like the team to beat, not only perhaps in the group, but in the tournament after all, or overall.
I'd probably even say that these are the two strongest teams in terms of, at the moment, current form. We know Entropiq are kind of be a little bit all over the place. They didn't qualify for the RMR, so that was a big shock. I think this is a massive match between these two sides, and they've met each other before. In the head-to-head between these two within the last kind of few months, OG have taken it both times, and they've been pretty convincing wins, so they know exactly what they're coming against, which was different to Wings Up. They didn't do the research, didn't do the prep, they didn't know what they were coming against, and of course, that's why they struggled.
And I feel like CS is very much just as much as mental game as it is like the statistics and all things nitty-gritty about CSGO. Now, heading over onto the Entropiq side of things, obviously the fact that they had won their previous match in such a comfortable fashion in itself has got to be a huge morale boost for the team. They're going to be heading into this one looking and potentially feeling incredibly confident. Do you feel like that confidence is enough to take down the likes of OG though?
It's needed, right? I mean, that's always been the big question mark towards Entropiq, especially recently. If Elian doesn't find his form, or if Mer doesn't find his form, they struggle because those are the big hitters. And once these guys go quiet, once they go cold, that's when this team falls apart.
Well, as we head on into the veto now, I think this is where things get really juicy and really spicy between these two teams. How do we think this veto is going to end up swaying, Hedge?
I think both teams, they know each other so well, right? They just played each other. This is going to be a best-of-1 series. So I think they're going to land on a map that both teams feel fairly comfortable on and feel that they have a good chance of winning.
So one thing that I do want to highlight is that Entropiq have gone for the ancient ban to start things off. Inferno has always been their insta, so they've now kind of realized that OG have been historically pretty good on towards likes of ancient, and they don't want to risk it. It's a map in which Entropiq have played a fairly decent amount of times. The win percentages aren't great. I think it's 17% within the last 3 months. So they themselves, they don't want to kind of back themselves on ancient. They're going to allow the insta ban to float, which is such a risk against OG. Luckily for them, second time round they just come out for the ban, and we end up on Mirage. It's the Pugger's paradise. Everyone knows how to play it. Both of these two sides are really good on it.
As we take a look at the Twitch vote results, 71% in favor of OG. I would love to say that I'm surprised, but I'm definitely not as surprised as I probably should be. But for the side of OG, I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping we would see the likes of a Dust 2 coming out, but who knows? Maybe this is just like big brain IQ plays. They don't want to risk giving any rounds away in the favor of side of Entropiq. But let's head on over with Conky, because I believe he's got a fan interview lined up.
After an awesome couple of games where we've had the Australian teams really step up, but also kind of get slapped around by Brazil. It's been a really nice one as we move into those upper bracket games. So we wanted to have a look around the crowd again and see who's been here. You guys have been here all day, George. And what do you reckon it's been like so far?
Yeah, it has been great so far. Me and my friend waited for this tournament since the beginning of this year.
Oh, fantastic. That's huge. And who are you here to support today?
We are here for OG and Wings Up.
OG and Wings Up. And obviously, well, look, Wings Up, that was a close game earlier today, right? So we'll be able to see some more of them later. But this one going in now, OG versus Entropiq, this should be, potentially game of the tournament, don't you think?
Yeah. I think both of the teams had the potential to go to overtime. I think we're very excited. I'm very excited to see OG and Entropiq play on the stage.
Fantastic. No, look, it's Mirage, right? So overtime, anything can happen. But look, again, crowd, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Let's hear it one more for OG and Entropiq. Right back to the desk, you guys. We'll see you soon.
Now, being a fan of both OG and Wings Up in itself has got to be heartbreaking, especially when you see that opening matchup that we had today. Intense to say the very least, but we're going to be tuning back in with Mac and Jim, who are going to take us through all of this action for OG versus Entropiq.
My expectation is very high because we played really much CS, but we don't have good results. Like last 3-4 months, we don't have like so much progress. Our results are not good, but we still wanna win. We still believe in each other, and that's why I think we will win this tournament.
We are back here in Melbourne. It's time to finish off the upper bracket of the group stages. It is, of course, a qualification match. So winner of this one goes all the way into the playoffs on Sunday and gets to skip tomorrow. I think that's pretty good if you ask me, Jim.
It's a pretty good payoff for a day of work, but as far as these two teams are concerned, they want to get on with the business. Obviously, they want to make their statement here as well. These two teams, number 1 and 2, in terms of what you're expecting in the seedings. So this match is going to be a cracker. Both of these two teams have shown some really decent form recently. We saw both of them play earlier. Wings Up gave OG a bit of a run on this map a little earlier in the day, but Entropiq were just so clinical in the way that they dismantled EG.
Looking at how the tournament's going, it is, of course, a little battle of EU. Of course, Entropiq looking so damn structured when we saw them play earlier today. I even had a quick chat with a couple of the OG players, and they were saying they were feeling really tired, and that was a couple of hours ago. So we'll see if that affects their gameplay going into this best of one, of course. It's still best of ones here, and it is going to be Mirage, the battlefield for the qualification into Sunday. Losers will be playing tomorrow in that lower bracket final, and we'll see how it all goes. But it starts here, as per usual, on the pistol.
Entropiq on that T side are looking to bring a lot of that discipline, that structure, that brand of CS that we saw earlier in play. But yeah, Elian might be able to try and fashion an opening here towards A. They do have a bit of a push and pull effect here in play with that presence towards the B apartments, that smoke going down to just, I guess, mask some vision of Connector. But in the meantime, Dexter's actually taken the opportunity to get a lot of information with this push.
How's the timing on that one? Me leaving the vicinity just at the wrong moment. But it's all going to come to Dexter. That jump surely hurt. Entropiq don't stop moving over towards underpass though, but it could be a tell. And Crad's starting to go for the jump peak as well. So, of course, that one was communicated. Entropiq now switched on. The OG know these positions. Dexter still sharp. Towards the top of mid here. That's a solid start. Elian chiming in there with the P250. And it looks like the A site is open for business. We'll see if OG can play for the retake.
Well, it's looking good as Nexter finds Elian. But that's that late lurk here from Mir that could be a real thorn in the side. He has to play it perfectly, though.
It's going to come down to the timing, and Dexter makes his move on the big flank through a main. Let's see if he can find it. Coming forward, Crad's going to get his head ripped off. Dexter, this is the impact you're expecting from the man Mir, though. Over towards Con may be the key piece of the puzzle, surviving, buying so much extra time, and he'll finish things off here as well. So T-side pistol going the way of Entropiq, and OG unable to make the retake work.
That round had so many layers to it. There was a flank in mid-connector, there was a flank in A ramp as well, so it's just a matter of timing as to how that played out, but we do see Entropiq start the match the way that they wanted to.
Yeah.
But the question is, we're going to see anything from OG? No, nothing in the realms of a Force Spy, so it's just a fast approach here. No nonsense either from Entropiq. They're just straight into those rifles. They've got Nickelback with that Mac 10, and he's looking for things a little silver side up, if you ask me.
Slow approach from OG. 3-1-1 split here. Looking to try and cover all the bases. Bit of a gamble towards the A side of things. But Entropiq are going right here. You can tell that these teams have come prepared for this Mirage game. And Entropiq may just get red here, walking into the trap of OG. But of course, it's just these USPs, so we'll see how much damage OG can do.
It's all going to be on that Mac 10 to just get in, get the info, try and get out of there unscathed if possible. Well, they're grouped up quite nicely here, Entropiq. So just making quick work of this stack towards A from OG. I think you might be able to pick up Forrester, but there is the insurance policy from Nickelback.
Solid round coming through there. Not a single gun lost, and now we've got that bonus starting to come through. Full save in the previous from OG means we've got M4s in play. Even the big green Dexter looking for a glass cannon angle. Let's see what OG decides to do. Of course, OG did play Mirage earlier, so Entropiq may have had the opportunity to study how they were playing against Windsor.
Tell you what, Entropiq are already taking fast control. They've got players down, catwalk already, straight into that pincer and short, and already B is under pressure. Mir opens up, and now OG are just trying to make the rotations work. Neofrag holds things off momentarily, but there's no full commitment coming through from Entropiq. They're just leaving Crad there to try and sell the rest of the fake and hopefully be able to catch this rotation from OG. But Dexter has also made a counter push too, so things is starting to get a little more interesting.
Nickelback just staying sneaky there. Over towards jungle. OG happy to play for the retake. Entropiq aware of that position. Dexter deep in pal. But it's the retake that they're worried about. OG heavily grouped towards CT as Nexa playing so damn well earlier, but he's going to be knocked down a notch early here. Forrester. 2 already and looking for a little bit more. Has a helping hand from the rest of the boys coming through from jungle, but look at this. The flank comes round and Nickelback. A kill with the Mac 10 and a free damn upgrade as well. They know that Dexter was in Palace earlier. And they're going to try to lock him in, throw away the damn key. But he really wants to carry the AWP into the next.
Yeah, he's going to have to watch out for this flank as well.
Not bad.
Oh.
Not damn bad.
Okay.
2 for 1, huh?
Yeah, just manages to hold on to that AWP, more importantly for OG, so...
Good deal.
Entropiq did try and force the issue. Couldn't quite take it out of the plate. But this is just such a strong post-plant hold from Forrester. From that moment, things just get incredibly difficult for OG to salvage anything out of that round, but they do take that AWP, so they have options here. How do they utilize Dexter? Do they just leave him to his own devices to be able to just fashion an opening?
Well, set smokes come through towards the A side of things. Entropiq to make their way through a main through Pal. There's only one man remaining on site and he won't get away alive. Boost over the top. Saw this one work earlier, but Neofrag blinded, falls off the top of his teammate's head. I think it was Flames actually spammed through that smoke. A Nickelback, he'll go down to the Deagle. Fiku gets traded. And in the 2-on-4, OG, they're just looking to carry anything across into the next, and it might just be added with an AK.
Yeah, look, that's a great thing to take out of this round, because up until then, they were just saving that AWP of Dexter. So it lives on to fight another day, but if they get that AK as well now, that just eases their woes into the next round, particularly for Neofrag too. And Nexa just sitting around the very bottom of the barrel in terms of money, but that loss bonus now kicks into effect, so this is a bit better. Taking 2 guns out of that round is a good result for OG.
Yeah.
But Entropiq have got a commanding 4-0 lead, so they still need rounds on the board.
What's going on? This is EUCS, and you're all so quiet. Come on. Show me how you feel. Nah, more. Go again. Yeah, a little better.
Seems like they're watching respectfully.
Room for improvement. I know you're all taking notes. Let's see if Entropiq can keep it clean here up against OG's buy again.
Just slow and methodical, isn't it, from Entropiq? Things start to slow down a little bit. They're expecting maybe some aggression. They've seen that pop flash over mid-connector before. They know that Dexter likes to peek mid on the back of it, but I haven't necessarily encountered any of that thus far. Just, again, looking to make contact here. It's just so slow from Entropiq. This is what we saw from them earlier on in the day, but they do have the propensity to explode into rounds as soon as contact is made. Just no ignition thus far.
Entropiq really trying to bait out as much of that util from OG as possible. Extremely slow play. And at the 40-second mark, it looks like they're going to start the assault towards the B side of things. Util coming through everywhere. Let's see how the entries go. Neofrag stops the split up short, and Fiku stands and delivers here on short pillar. No one from Entropiq able to get the side at all. And Elian is not going to hear that swing either. Flames comes in to seal the deal, and OG, they're on the board in the 5th.
And they get themselves a nice clean round too. They didn't take a single loss, only burnt utility in the round, and Neofrag opens up very well and made sure that there wasn't any extra pressure on that B side hold. As soon as they remove the thumb of the pincer coming up catwalk, it becomes incredibly difficult for Entropiq to put a lot of pressure on that site. So they're all just filtered into the B halls. Fiku had that on lock, and now we do see a quick pause, I guess, to just sort things out. But Mac, I mean, this is the Entropiq we expected. They're slow, they're methodical, they're disciplined, but they get the results.
Everything just well thought out. Earlier up against EG, you saw there was no disrespectful gameplay coming through. They were just structured, playing their own game, not giving EG a single inch. And it looks like we're going to see that exact same Entropiq coming out in this qualification game. They actually want tomorrow off. They want that quick holiday. On the Saturday, they want to sit in the bleachers, sit in the crowd with everyone, and get ready for a big old best of 3 on Sunday, but they're not there yet. Still 12 rounds remaining. That's a long road.
You do see some early territory taken by Entropiq, but again, just contact play now based on the back of what's going on in the halls. They've just hit the ignition though. The starter has been set. And Fiku's got his work cut out for him, though, but he stays alive for now. So it's just a 1-for-1. They do potentially have control of the site if they can get past that short hold.
Crowd with a solid trade. I thought Fiku was a little bit too sneaky for them, but there you go. Nickelback strikes with the Mac 10 again. Amir as well. Ready for the flank in through apartments, but is he expecting a second? Nexa popped off earlier, but a much slower start here. Finds another. But it's cost him a point of health or 2. And it looks like it's going to be 5 on the board for Entropiq. Nexa just wants an M4 to survive into the next round.
Yeah, important that he keeps that, because that is another potential buy for them coming out. But Entropiq, not really afforded territory just to chase thus far, but as far as their money's concerned, and not necessarily in a position either, they want to strengthen their own economy. So they do extend their lead to 5-1. Yeah. I do love the way Entropiq are varying their tempo, though. Immediately on the back of these slow and methodical rounds, they play contact early on, and it just catches OG out time and time again. They just sent Nickelback on a fact-finding mission. He was able to push all the way through market, and with all that information, they just let him go. Like they just let him off the leash.
Well, the tactical coming through. Looks like the coach is having a quick yarn with the boys, trying to pump them up, keep them going, keep them solid. Did hear that they, of course, were tired. 4 a.m. wake-ups for a couple of the boys, not quite on the Aussie clock just yet. But look, they played damn well earlier, so see if they can do it again this afternoon. Much slower start for them, though, Jim.
Certainly has been. But we know the quality of opposition they're up against, so is it a case of a slow start or just well-drilled opposition? Certainly what we're seeing would suggest it's well-drilled opposition. That's a fast take of mid, and they're really upping the tempo here, Entropiq. OG just getting caught off guard, trying to take aggressive CT positioning, but it's just not working for them.
Dexter just trying to hunt for any of those T's in through the smoke, but it's fading. nade gets big damage done onto the Entropiq members, and there's the follow-up. Degstar can't find the second. Nickelback, great spacing for the trade. And Forrester's going to start to crack open the A site. OG looking like they're crumbling in a very crucial round.
Yeah, this is not the round where you want to have things fall to pieces, but Fiku, I don't like his chances here of getting anything other than exits, and that's exactly what he's positioned himself for. You've got Entropiq now, they're on the hunt. Maybe a chance that he could potentially slip the net, but for now it's just about survival for Fiku.
He's having a sniff. Don't want to say anything. But he has time. He is there. Teaser too far away. Smoke goes down.
Not
He's
like
holding
this.
his defuse button. And we've got our first damn ninja of the tournament, Fiku. Bringing around back at a 1-on-4. Sneaky scenes here in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh dear.
But every round's around, and OG, hopefully that'll rekindle the fire.
Yeah, Entropiq really pushing hard to try and take what they thought Fiku had out of play, but in the end they concede the round. However, for OG, that's all they needed. The money situation isn't fantastic over at Entropiq, so every round that they get, it's important they continue to just build on the back of round after round. They need consecutive rounds here to just find themselves in a more comfortable situation, but
yeah,
we're seeing some early aggression come out from OG towards mid, trying to take that pick early, trying to up the ante a little. Entropiq just back to this slow, disciplined default CS that we've seen, and it's been working for them. Didn't really need to change things too much. But, I mean, everything they're doing right now is on point. They got themselves into the site in the last round. If it wasn't for that ninja, it would have been such a clean round for them.
Well, straight up short they go. And OG ready for the short bust. Good positioning coming through. Still a man up on Balk. They haven't found him just yet. Fiku tucked in the corner. And he's got a man in front of him to find Nickelback as well. Just trying to stay sneaky. Deep in it towards market. The bomb's not here. The bomb's not planted. And time is being bought by Fiku. He was sneaky enough to find two. But it's back to the 2-on-2 now. And Entropiq still yet to plant.
Yeah, Nickelback was just looking at a photograph momentarily in market.
Oh, they liked that one, Jim.
They don't often like them. I'll take them.
Very true.
But this 2v2 potential now for OG to wrestle back another round. But they need to dismantle this potential crossfire. They need to figure out where things are, but that flash is not going to help. That's just going to chew up so much time unless Dexter can go explosive.
Ooh, swing around. Elliot. Great defense. Nickelback, a crisp one onto Nexa. Little statement. Salvaging things off the back of that ninja defuse. 4-round lead now, and Entropiq starting to slowly but surely run away with this game on the T side.
It is certainly a match they have built themselves into. They've looked very, very structured. We saw that earlier. They were no nonsense in their opening match of the day. EG had their work cut out for them just to fashion those 4 rounds, but OG are a different beast. They're a team that's finding a lot of form recently. They've certainly taken some big names with them, but Entropiq are playing a brand of CS right now that are just so frustrating to deal with. They're very constrictive in the way they play on that T side. They filter you in, and they sometimes lull you into this false sense of security as well, and the way that they play slow, but when they vary the tempo, they really do catch you off guard.
Entropiq looking to keep it simple here up against the lackluster buy from OG. Set smokes, hit an A, worked before. Let's see if OG's ready. They're bringing 4 players to the party this time. Only Fiku on the other side of the map. So a 4-on-5. Let's see if Entropiq can navigate their way to site. Flames, missed opportunity, but he's still hungry for more. Mir going to be standing in his way though. And there's that M4 starting to have some impact. Next up finds one through the smoke. And Degster looking to get aggressive now with that P250. AK retrieved, but he's standing behind wood. And that's bangable every day of the week. But Nexo is here, and he's doing work for OG. But is it enough?
He's still alive. Oh, can't quite hold that spray. Neofrag with that deagle to finish things off, and they wrestle back around. So critically needed for OG before things start to spiral out of control on that CT side. Entropiq, they're finding their way into these sites. They're really starting to cause headaches here for OG.
Right. Sharp round from him, but look, Nexa really saving the day with a 3K there. Neofrag, good trade to close things out on the pistol. Or the mixed bag, we'll call it.
It's largely been Nexa that's been performing for OG. A few of their star players have actually been quite quiet so far this tournament. So if he can continue to find that form, Nexa, he allows the space for his teammates to at least rise to the occasion. But Entropiq, as I said, they are largely still in control of this match. They are having to make some adjustments of their own, though. We're seeing some concessions made. Tech9s, Galils, just to be able to get that utility in the back pocket.
Well, Tech9s, let's see if it's enough. It's not going to be. Crad gets demolished through that smoke. And the mixed buy coming through from Entropiq is not off to a good start. OG, plenty of util to fend off the troops. And look, with the man advantage, with mid control, they are happy just to hold this set up and play for the retake on A.
It's one of those rounds too where Entropiq, they know the potential payoff here is a reset for their opposition, but Mir does manage to find that trade. So back to a 4v3. A lot of territory still yet to be taken by Entropiq, but they're going to rotate back towards A. This adjustment, Elian's just trying to find that opening. Can't quite find it thus far, and they find themselves back at square one effectively. OG, they've got the basics covered. They're actually going to leave that B-bomb site just a chance and back their retake in strength and numbers.
Slow approach. Forrester had a very good game earlier. Up against EG. Let's see if he can do it again. Degster. Not going to see the timing here, and it's going to boil down to it. OG ready for the push through smoke, though, and Flames is taking names. Elian, Forrester, a 2-on-4. It's a big ask, especially when you're spotted like that. OG all over this round. And Elian just wants the AWP to be carried in to the 11th.
Really feels as though Entropiq ran out of a little bit of steam they had heading into that round where Fiku was able to just steal things away. But
yeah.
Just now allows an opening into this for OG. They're capitalizing on it as much as they can. They're trying to keep their CT economy up, which isn't an easy thing to do when you're in a position such as the one that they find themselves in. But Entropiq now, they did force into that, and they're going to force into this again. This is...
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, this is... well, just Mir with that deagle, to be honest, but are they going to follow the Pied Piper around? Elian with that AWP.
Money's not too crash hot. But of course, they have a key to success. It just depends on where this AWP goes. And look, Unders is a dangerous place to put it. But just expecting OG once again to be going for that mid control. They're prioritising that in the mid round for the most part. And Entropiq, they're just looking for anything here, really.
Yeah, OG actually haven't over-aggressed in this round or any of the rounds previous either. So they've really been just restricted in what they're doing. Dexter's got that potential matchup here at the top of mid.
Ooh. Okay, Forrester used as a human flashbang. It's baited the shot. But the AWP survives, and it puts them on the line. Elian goes down. The AWP needs to be recycled. But who in Entropiq is going to put their hand up and make anything happen this round? Oh. Very, very close to the 100-0 nade there.
Yeah, that could have been a real upset. But Mir now has taken those duties on. He takes out Dexter, so they have some space to work with. It's going to need to be more, though, because Nickelback is bleeding internally.
Okay.
So it's back towards B, statistically.
Crad going out early. The troop's a little bit too far away, but there's 10 seconds to get to site and play it. And it's a big ask. Mir's thinking about just saving now. Nickelback with the D, running, taking heads off the top of these OG members. And Mir, of course, look, he's got a little bit of cash in the bank, and this AWP into the next could do some extra damage. But that's OG, really starting to find their feet, feel out the momentum, and get right back into the game.
Yeah, they've certainly just dropped off a little bit in the last few rounds. As we said, they have a very structured approach to CS, and I feel as though the rhythm's been bumped a little. So Dexter has that AWP back in his hands. OG have just taken the opportunity to massage the coffers a little. But again, back towards this B site. Aggression from the CTs, aggression from OG and taking control of mid, but they're also taking control and making this push for information down A ramp. So very active plays from OG.
Brad on the entry with the Mackie. Let's see how much space he can create. It's Flames with a main control. An OG off the back of that might just go for the rotation, but we shall see. Bomb still there in spawn. And look who's sniffing it out, it's Flames. But he won't overstep his boundaries just yet.
Oh, Mir's going to be caught out by the timing. That's not good, but...
Took one with him.
Managed to actually, pick up Dexter in amongst all that, so it's not 4-0. As these smokes will soon fade, they need to get themselves into this B bomb site. Next will have that cross on lock. That bomb has still yet to make its way out of the hall, so they are potentially waiting on this interaction at A to unfold before things start to unfold. They're trying to allow Forrester the gap to sell this fake.
Brad with a lot of space over towards short here. Can he win this one or the Nexa? He will not. Nexa up in hand. Was able to bring it to this 3-on-1. Cut the site in half with this line. And Elian likes his chances. Headshot found. Spotted. Crossing back to site. But the CT starting to flood through. Isolated fights are found from Neofrag there. Spams him through default. And it's a big retake coming through for OG. Because now we're all tied up at 6 apiece.
OG really do love rolling with momentum. And that's exactly what they've been able to do on this CT side. Wrestled it back to 6 apiece, Max. So this CT side, they're starting to warm into things there. It definitely felt as though they were on the back foot. Entropiq had all the reads. They were playing a slow, tempered approach. They had essentially OG in the palm of their hand. They had conditioned this CT side to expect slow and methodical pushes, slow rounds, long rounds, but when they varied the tempo, it was catching them off guard. However, they did become a little unsettled after the Ninja defuse, so I suspect that really has bumped Entropiq a little. OG will take any advantage they can get in this, and fist bumps all around as they look to get back into this. Quick tactical pause, Mac, to discuss what they need to do to continue that momentum. And of course, for Entropiq, what they can do to just take it back.
Just keep themselves on track, you know. 2-3 split. OG. Looking like we'll see the double up over towards mid. Jump not going to be hit there for Dexter, but the shot certainly will. Blinded as well. Spotted Forrester just in time, and at the bottom of mid gets a second. It's criminal, but it's worked out, and OG off to a great start in round 13.
He had no help. He had no support from anyone. He was just out there on his lonesome fighting. And so, he's able to take 2 with him, but that just opens up the map slightly here for Entropiq. Now, Neofrag might... I thought he'd found timing with that push, but just didn't want to overextend himself and potentially expose himself to that mid. But a lot of information here for OG, and that is great. Fiku had that a lock. Entropiq have just run into some very, very solid walls early on.
These deep AWP lines working so well on Mirage. And now in a 2-on-4, Mir is making noise. Knows the clock that is against him. But he has no idea where the second man is. Crad, boosted into window, is going to catch a timing. Head spotted. Crad knows, but he wants a little more. And it's going to boil down to the timing. Fiku seems to be fully aware that this could be a possibility. No. And he'll stop it before it becomes an issue. Mir now in a 1-on-4. 20 to plant, and he won't get through App safely. Neofrag takes his name. And now OG in the lead for the first time this map.
It felt as though that was almost a foregone conclusion. Entropiq really haven't had a lot of success. You're right, this is criminal, Mac. The fact that he's just able to stand in mid, he has some flash support, but that's it. There's no one watching his back. He's just gone full turret mode deployed in mid and been able to take two. So when you allow a player like Dexter to warm into a match, it has consequences. And Entropiq now just back on those pistols to see whether or not they can close the gap, potentially take some weapons out of the hands of OG and take a round for themselves. I mean, it feels as though it's been quite a while since we've seen their name on the winners board.
Well, in comes that execute from Entropiq again towards the A side. Double unders coming through, but Nickelback only good for one there with the Tech 9. Issue is, numbers of Entropiq have been thinned so much already. It's just Mir in a 1-on-4. And that's a big ask for a big man with a big deeg. But Dexter, he won't allow any of that fun.
It really feels as though OG are just the party poopers here for Entropiq. They've come in, they've wrestled the momentum back, they've been able to just stabilize their CT half, which was not looking good. Entropiq had control. Entropiq had everything. They had OG eating out of the palm of their hand, and they were conditioned well. But, however, that's not how OG like things to be. So these adjustments that have come through from OG have worked well. And on the back of a slight momentum shift, they've been able to capitalize to the fullest. So, CT aggression expected here from Entropiq, but they're now going to flash themselves back into mid. The run boost as well.
Okay. No CTs facing. OG happy to give a bit of control and take it back later. Flames just spotting unders. The double con setup looks real damn strong with the support of Neofrag over towards short now. Flash over con. They nade the unders as well.
A lot of CT utility being burnt in the early stages here. Only Fiku and Nexter have got anything left, but Crad finds the result that they needed in Entropiq. They are starting to punch their way through. They've sent a punch through mid-connector. Oh, Neofrag.
He's heard those footsteps. And Nier somehow wins that one. No entry back into the round for OG, but we'll see what Fiku can do. He's running with his back to Nickelback, and there you have it. 8-7 at the half. It could not be too much closer here in Melbourne. But ladies and gentlemen, have a breather. We'll be back after the break with the second half.
Stop this feeling. It's setting all my doubts on fire. Ooh, like you won't believe it. Won't let a moment pass me by. Too late, can't win. I'm giving in, 'cause I can feel something coming over me, holding me till the morning. And it keeps me dancing when I feel something coming over me. I just keep dancing. Ooh, morning light so blinding. It's on the ceiling and the walls. Where is my name? 'Cause I can't find it. Those early memory lane walls. Ooh, but I know Coming over me, holding me till the morning. And it keeps me dancing when I feel something coming. Coming over me, I just keep dancing. The time that it takes. Feeling this great is worth the wait. I can feel something coming. Coming over me, holding me till the morning. And it keeps me dancing when I feel something coming. Coming over me, I just keep dancing. I can feel something coming. Coming over me, holding me till the morning. And it keeps me dancing when I feel something coming. Coming over me, I just keep dancing. You and I, we're like dynamite. Got plenty of reasons to take you home. Shining bright with those diamond eyes. Ain't no way I'm ever letting go. Boy, I'll be loyal to you. No need for drama. Farewell with you.
Let me share with you a theory. So there was attack pause in that first half, and since then, OG barely lost a round. So I think Rugger reminded OG they get tomorrow off if they win, and they need to catch up on sleep. They want the extra day to fix those body clocks, and they haven't lost a bloody round.
So you're telling me this is how he reminds them of the potential for rest?
Yeah, you got a few with that one. Now, remind me what this is. Oh, it's a pistol round. Oh, Flames. He's right out on side already, and it's Fiku clearing things nicely. Crad with 2, just sitting pretty at jail for a moment. Elian draws some attention there towards Market, and Entropiq have done a good job at slowing down this bomb plant, but OG not getting ahead of themselves. They're here to fight.
They certainly are. Now, Mia is still a present danger in this site. They get the bomb down regardless, and, well, they're all going to try and face him. However, he's able to isolate the different angles, and Nickelback,
Okay.
well, he's come in to turn things up on its head, and, wow, this round has gone silver side up, Mac.
Big round coming through there. Nickelback starting to shine when it's needed most, and Entropiq equalise, kicking off the second half the same way we saw that first half start. But we're all tied up now, 8 apiece. So we'll see what happens into the second. OG, of course, did manage to get that bomb plant down, so there's extra cash in the tank for a force buy if they want it.
Well, are they going to take it? Well, that answers that. And so, early flashes and smokes exchanged in mid. OG, they're going to try and get out onto connector, and they're just coughing a bit of spam. Dexter bearing the brunt of that. And so, they are just slowly taking territory here, mere unassisted.
Edging forward. Head could definitely be spotted in a moment. With Nexa in this position, OG, they love this mid-control, and that smoke has just denied so much information. Nickelback flashes forward and drops to his death. Big picks coming through from OG. The trap was set, and it struck perfectly. Elian not going to get more than a tag out there with that scout. No kills just yet, but OG, they have to be wary about sight. Look at this man. Crad tucked away. Can definitely swing the round in an instant if he takes the timing to peek, but he's going to be last alive. Spots it, only good for one, and there you have it. OG hit back in the second. The Galils were just too much for Entropiq to deal with.
Yeah, it started to really fall apart for them, unfortunately, with that mid affair. As well, there wasn't a lot of support coming out for the push, so it just led them straight into the waiting open arms of OG. And Entropiq lost a lot of territory there. From there, OG had their pick where they wanted to go. They were able to. So we do see that short boost coming through. OG not interested. They're just sending Nexa on that fact-finding mission through mid. He's just got that Mac 10, trying to earn some extra cash.
Crad takes a decent chunk of damage there over towards jungle. And OG setting the A bomb site alight with flames everywhere. And they've taken a whole bunch of controls. So we'll see what Entropiq can do from here. They're going to group up, try to play together, but Crad will fall early before that retake started.
And even then, Nexa's position's been revealed, but it's going to be a real pain for any CTs that want to try and position themselves for exit frags. So Nexa's just going to continue to push. He's going to continue to find scalps, and Mir is the next to fall. So OG are looking to maximize the money bonus.
Elian. Sharp shots coming through. Nade takes him down to 48. They need to find Nickelback, which they will. Neofrag puts his hand up for that one. And Elian, great tags coming through, but it's not going to be enough to finish off Flames. 4 alive, 4 rifles still carried across into the next. And OG, after a rough loss in the pistol, they've hit back real hard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm suspecting Entropiq taking eco here to just allow themselves some room with some gun rounds. And just for the moment, though, OG needs to navigate their way through these pistols. So what will Entropiq do? Are they going to try something a little bit more funky? They're going to just filter out through mid, just trying to take these duels.
Strength in numbers has not worked as intended. Dink onto Nexter and Dexter, but at the same time, just with USPs, no armor, Entropiq, they just need anything. Nothing going their way, though, since that first round this half.
Neofrag might have his back turned at the crucial moment if he's not careful, but Mir's just in striking distance. This is a very slow round from OG. They're not taking any chances whatsoever. Neofrag, ever patient. And so they're just allowing Entropiq to fall into the traps that they've set. Outweight any aggression. And plenty of time now for OG to get that bomb into A, get that bomb plant down, and potentially even go for more frags. Next has got that Mac 10. So now that they've been spotted, expect him to arrive on scene.
Ooh. Tapping away. Neofrag. He's hungry for these eco kills. Pad those stats, son. Nexa, though, as this Mac 10. He wants them all for himself, but a great position from Crad at least picks up a kill for himself. And Flames, he'll follow through. And there it is. 11 on the board. A 3-round lead now over Entropiq, who are having a bit of trouble here in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a buyout here. That's not necessarily going to be fantastic. See, Elian's already bought in. And now, the rest of the team, they have to make this work in their favour. They've got about that 4-3, 4-6 mark. So
yeah,
what are they going to have to go without here? It all factors into their game plan. Without utility, they're not going to be able to go as aggressive. Without decent weapons, though, they're not going to be able to match that firepower. So they've made their choices.
I think the stats there may be skewed after this one, of course. Entropiq with the only real stomp we've seen today. 16-4 from the top of my head, I think it was. Yeah. A very one-sided affair on Overpass.
It was very much the way that this match started, from start to finish, funnily enough. But Entropiq have just dropped a few rounds there and started to snowball out of control for them. But look at this change in tempo here from OG.
Really
Great out of the tack pause.
Mir's heard this one, tries to drop some util and decapitates a few on the way out. Entropiq ready as anything for the rush towards B. Forrester looking to get into the mix as well, and it's down to Fiku at 26. This round is done and dusted, Jim.
The fast change in tempo. A lot of teams try and do that, funnily enough, out of the back of a pause, which will try and change the tempo completely to what the opposition expects. But this time it actually plays right into the hands of Entropiq. So the roll of the dice doesn't quite come up with the numbers that they want, and they're back to what has been working for them, I would suspect. Their money's still decent enough, and, well, at least for Entropiq, they get a chance to earn some cash of their own. Also get some confidence back into some of their key players as well.
Nice early boost here. Looking for a line on Con, and it works wonderfully. Elliot out of the equation already.
Great trade.
And Flames, he's gone as well. Crad doing work with a double. We're back to this 3-on-3 at the mid-round.
Some good trades coming out from both these two teams. That's how tightly grouped they are. And so the spacing's working out for them. Fiku's able to find potentially a second in Crad. But what he's done is he's drawn all the eyeballs towards A.
And Nexa still standoffish over towards T-Spawn there. You can see he's got that bomb on the belt and is just waiting for the rest of the boys to make a move. They have some extra info now, and Neofrag might catch a timing out the top of Con, but look where Forrest is heading. He's trying to cheat the tempo. Just gave the crowd a moment.
Yeah, let him.
Great moment, by the way. Good job, guys. Yeah.
This crowd gets behind every hero.
Next up. Oh. Ollie goes down. Crad here, able to find one more. But it's not enough for the round just yet. Forrester a while away. He's going to drop into mid. Nade to try to slow down the bomb plan, and it's done the job. Kobe's in the crowd. And Neofrag is here to stop it from happening. Great shot to keep OG in the round. And can that upset?
Oh, that was looking dangerous there. Some quick thinking. Great little nade onto the boxes. And that was very much a maybe, very much an almost. But we have now Entropiq. They're trying to piece together what they can out of this fight. Just trying to keep within striking distance of OG.
Cheeky movement coming through from Entropiq there to try to get that early ladder control, but Crad decides to sit on the cinder blocks instead, and we'll see if OG take their time with this one. But with the re-smoke at window, you can see that they are very interested in just maintaining this mid control for a moment.
Not quite working out, but again, OG have got their players in position, in forward positions in mid. I'm just backing off to see whether or not Entropiq are going to have their interest peaked. Are they going to expect some flash peaks? To be honest, not liking the prospects there, but
there it is!
There they are.
Big kill coming through with the swag 7, Elliot.
Making that bank.
Get some extra cash in the tank after that. And OG, they don't want to go anywhere near that thing, so they're sending it to the other side.
Well, they've got some crossfire still yet to dismantle. Here is Forrester. His position will be called in momentarily. Look, that's perfect. Flames has already taken a pretty big dink. Crad's already taken attention, and now Forrester, he's just ready to swing, but not able to get the job done. Dexter no-scopes his way in, but Nickelback
big hold
has taken control.
He arrives just in time to use his fallen teammate as a little old distraction. So big trades come through, and a big round too, as Entropiq make it all the way to 10 and give us a big old game here on Mirage.
Well, they've done a good job here, Entropiq, of just keeping that economy honest. And so OG, they're also caught in this game of trying to sway the money in their favour in the next round. They know that Entropiq can't be dealing with healthy numbers So they force-board into this now too. Now Dexter, patience, will it be rewarded? Mir's also on another off angle too. So this is just a case of who will blink first. But
everyone just waiting for that one to come through. Neofrag sneaks his way through unders, and OG, they just love this dance with death at mid. It was working so well earlier, but Entropiq starting to read them, starting to adapt, just like they need to stay in the game here on the CT side. Topcon smoke coming through from Nexa, and it looks like OG may start to make a move towards a split B. But we'll see what they decide upon.
About 50 seconds now to try and get themselves into better positions here, but focal point will be mid-connector. And with this Entropiq push towards a ramp, it's actually going to mean that...
the timing! The transfer, it's all there for Nickelback. And he can't quite pick up the second, but with a two-man advantage now, Entropiq, they are in this one to win it.
They certainly are, and as I said, this A-ramp push has made things interesting because that bomb is still down the bottom of connector. Crad, he holds it. And now Neofrag has to go and try and collect the pieces of this round. Does some damage, but the round goes the way of Entropiq. So it feels as though it's been just quite a bit of time since we've seen them put multiple rounds together.
Yeah.
Now's their chance to fight their way back into this game.
One round in it. And if it keeps going like this, Entropiq may just be able to run away with it, but we'll see how the momentum swings. OG, of course, just on the pistols.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can work anything into this round.
Yeah, the force into the last round was their attempt to try and close the gap and put Entropiq in a similar position had they won the round. So it didn't quite pay off for them. But now it's on Entropiq to make sure they keep this round as clean as possible. Utility on point for Entropiq. And that is as clean as they get. They were straight into the meat grinder.
Mir, a big game so far. A couple of eco frags in there, of course, but they're important. You know, we've seen a few pistol rounds come through today. A couple of upset affairs. No real game upsets, though, I'd say. Some really, really close games. And we're in for another. All tied up, 12 rounds each. Who knows who's going to be taking this one? I'll check with the guys. You guys were a little quiet earlier. Is OG winning? How about Entropiq? Oh, we got some Entropiq. A little bit louder for Entropiq there. There you go.
That's right down the middle. You're going to have to run that back, Mac.
Oh, in a little bit. You know, we'll give him a chance to have a breather.
Mull it over.
Yeah. Fiku.
Has he
spotted at the perfect moment, and with this one-way Nickelback, might be able to seal the deal with the nade. Is it good? No, not quite enough. Fiku. Say a big one and a second. And that's the freebie with Util, but they're going to get one right back. Caught with Util in hand, Mir falls down. Crad able to trade at least through Con for the moment, but Neofrag, all the pieces of the puzzle, pushing and pulling bloody everywhere. And OG, after all that, they're a man down.
Yeah, they've got control of the A-bomb side, but Flames is yet to reunite with his teammate, and he's going to have to fight his way through. So it is a 2v2. There's a lot of open play now. Both these two teams have to regroup somewhat. Now, Elian, he's been left to his own devices as the two CTs opt to split in this situation.
Well, let's see what Entropiq's protocols are. Neofrag's just been tucked away there at Firebox, so trying to keep it sneaky, waiting for Flames to turn up so they can play this one together, and they're slowly clearing angles, but of course, while this is all happening, look at the timing. Forrester's creeping his way back towards A, and Elian has not seen a thing at B.
That flash, though, is going to allow Forrester some space to work with here. 2 versus 2 in the post plant now. As Forrester finds one, he has a great idea of where Neofrag is, so Neofrag's got his work cut out.
1 on 2, has to frag heavy here, but it's not going to work. Forrester with the swing, with the flank, with the 2K is enough to get Entropiq in the lead. Plenty of time for the defuse. And OG The economy wasn't looking too good going into this round. After a plant, we'll see in a moment what it looks like.
Things are really starting to heat up between these two teams. We're in the business end of the match. As we said, only one team can progress. It's a well-worked round. Entropiq have found a lifeline. They found some life. OG, they're just back onto those pistols to try and find openings.
Give themselves that fighting chance.
Yeah.
And maybe allow Entropiq to get to that 14th, but of course, OG worried about their own economy, and it's going to be a faster approach out A. Crad close range is going to deal with a couple of the pistols. Nickelback not too far away, has his say as well. And it's Piku and Nexa to try to make it work with the Deagles. It's looking like it's not going to happen. Mir as well has been cracking shot on short, and again, there's another. That's 14 now. Entropiq just need 2 rounds to skip their Saturday.
Yeah, they've woken back up at the end of this match, and this is really starting to look troublesome for OG. What have they got in store here, though? They need to find something fast because Entropiq are racing towards match point. They do have a full buy coming out, so
yeah,
this is really for them. That last roll of the dice. Pretty much spent as much as they could in the round. And they're going to back themselves for this A execute with that late mid presence too coming. So Crad, he's in the key position.
Head down, just trying to dodge those lamp flashes coming through, and in they come. Good position just to deal with it, but the second is too much. Elian able to at least get the trade through, but he'll go out of the equation as well. And now it's just down to Flames here in window to buy some extra time. And this is looking real good for OG for the moment, but we will see in just a moment. What's going on here, huh? What is Mir doing? Is he biting off a little bit too much? And there it is. Strikes while he can. Neofrag looking to see what the crowd was bloody talking about there. Let's see if Mir can do it all on his own. Flame's real low, but it looks like the AK is priceless in the hands of a CT, so he is just going to scurry away. And OG fight real damn hard for a 13th. Keep it simple, just smash their way through a main.
Yep. Back to basics, back to just solid basics there. Wasn't anything flashy, wasn't anything fancy. They were grouped well for the trades. And that late mid presence as well really put a thorn in the side of Entropiq. That's a nice little one tap to hold on to the AK for now, but Dexter might be able to isolate Mir with that angle. Oh. So they take nothing out of this round, Entropiq.
Great crosshair placement coming through there. Now, where to from here? Entropiq still with that 1 round buffer, but not on match point yet. Still a couple of rounds away.
Quick pause for thought.
Yeah.
As we've seen Entropiq, they have come back into this match quite strongly in the tail end, but OG still have some fighting spirit too, so
okay.
I don't know, Mac.
Well, Pooch is coming in with a bit of a motivational speech. A couple of fist bumps for the boys. We'll see if it is enough to motivate them, to help them going into the final couple of rounds here of regulation.
Let's just see whether or not this one goes all the way, or maybe even further. Oh, that's a nice set of trades in mid. An equal exchange, but they don't want to give too much away to the advancing T side. Playing fire.
He's still here, playing around this one-way at unders. They've already dealt with one of the CTs, and Mir's making his way up towards the top of the fence. He'll find a line, but will he expect the second? Nexa unable to stop the cross into Con. And now he's out in no man's land. Smoke fades. Spotted the CTs. They want him, and they're going to make it happen as well. Nexa finds one more with a crisp one onto Elian. but it's Flames in a 1-on-3 to try to keep the dream alive for OG. And he's got a couple of CTs in front of him. There's the first, maybe expecting that second player at unders. Oh, me. Up in the window. And a couple of the Entropiq supporters are getting real excited about that one.
Oh, why not too? They're on match point and they've had to fight to get here. OG haven't made things easy, but I suspect this is not a good situation to be in for the money on OG. They were pretty much running toward the bottom of the barrel. Their loss bonus just sitting middle of the pack, and they've only been able to get themselves out. They had to concede some luxuries, but they do get themselves a bye here. Elliot, he's been quite an effective AWPer. Really taking the fight to Dexter, and, well, certainly now could be potentially putting Entropiq in the box seat. As they're back to the basics here, OG. It's worked for them before.
It certainly did. And Entropiq, they are bringing forward to the party.
Oh.
Nickelback is standing, delivering, and maybe making this a done deal, but Dexter is here to stop that from happening. Mir as well, usually on short, but Blink, and he's made his way quickly to CT. 2-on-2 though. No bomb plant yet, as Dexter's deleted straight from short. What do Entropiq do here in this 1-on-2?
Next was the bright and shining star for them in the first match, and he's going to have to rally and lift them again. He does have the bomb, but both CTs are grouped together, so they're not allowing him anything in this round. He's got a lot of homework to do. He's got plenty of time to do it in, but a lot of time like that, you don't want to overplay it. You don't want to overthink it.
Ooh, crowd's back on OG here. But Entropiq, the discipline, it's there, looking at him. Happy to play for the retake. They want Nexa to make this first move, and make it he will. Plant at default. Swing through. Oh, it's that 1-on-1. Second man joins the party, and Entropiq are going to be taking this best of one, 16-13. They, of course, need to get through the defuse first, but at the same time, what an affair. OG with a banging first half, but Entropiq, they fought back in the second.
Yeah, OG, they had their work cut out for them. Entropiq leapt out to a commanding lead early on, but OG showed grit and determination to bring it back, and they fought all the way until the end. But both these two teams, they had a lot of life in them yet, and I feel as though that match might have deserved some overtime, but you know how Mirage and overtime goes in these waters, Mac.
Maybe. Well, look, OG going to be having to work overtime because they have to play tomorrow now. Entropiq, the first team to book a ticket into the playoffs, so they'll be straight into a Sunday game and get to sit back and watch the rest of the games tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been us here, bringing you all the action. You got Elf Boy and Pillman coming up later. You've been wonderful. We're going back to the desk just after the break. Enjoy yourselves tonight.
Stay here this time. Show me a
Well, Struth, mate, that was a back and forth match between OG and Entropiq with an 8-7 half to OG. Bloody oath to the 21% of Twitch chat for predicting Entropiq to win, but someone had to tell the OG voters they were dreaming. Time to stick a shrimp on the barbie to celebrate, I guess.
I don't know what you're saying, Joe, but I'm assuming it's great, so I'll take your word for it. But no, positive signs if you're Entropiq. I don't think they know what you're saying either, but so far, you got to say, so good for them. That's a really big victory, isn't it? I mean, to take down OG in a side in which they've struggled to in 2 previous attempts recently as well, on both maps in which Entropiq have been historically quite good on, and this map which they've been slightly coin flippy on, I've got to say, I'm really impressed.
I was expecting a little bit more fight coming out from the side of OG though, but Hedja, I got to say, Entropiq certainly did put us through our paces.
Yeah, you know, it's the reason why they call this map Mirage. So stupid. It's getting early here in the studio, and so the jokes, of course, they have to follow.
The dad jokes are out in full force, and you know what? We love you for it, Hedja. Honestly, I've got to say. But let's check in over on the stage with Nickelback and see how he's feeling after that game.
An absolute classic, as is per usual, right? Of course, we end up on Mirage in a best of 1, but that's where all the best stuff is done here down under. And yeah, we've had Entropiq obviously come over a big opponent in OG, and I've got Nickelback here with me. So, mate, look, you guys are the first teams to the playoffs. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. It's really sick team. It's too interesting to play against them, and we won, and I'm happy now.
Fantastic. And I got to admit, you know, there was a little bit of back and forth. You know, you guys had a really strong start. OG pulled it in, but you guys managed to close it out in the end. Was there any sort of change in the game that made you guys bring it back?
We know how they're playing. Like T-side, we throw some rounds on T-side, like Ninja Diffuse and something like this. And we know our city side is strong, and we just follow our game plan.
Fantastic. And also, look, you guys have actually been, the core of Entropiq has been together for a little while now with Hooch at the lead, of course. What's the team dynamic like? Do you guys have a good friendship together between each other?
Yeah, we are good friends in real life. It's good. It's good to play with this team.
Fantastic. And also, apparently, I hear you've got something to say to the Australian fans out there as well.
Guys, I want to say for you, Oisi, Oisi, Oisi.
There you go. Absolutely love to see it. Thank you again, guys. And yeah, back to the desk.
I think round of applause are definitely in order there. You guys did a cute little like half of a heart each. Go on, do it for the camera.
There we go. There we go. Just for Entropiq.
There was an attempt. Are
you failing miserably now?
There was certainly an attempt there, but Entropiq making it through to the playoffs, that in itself is a huge, huge achievement for them. For the side of OG, though, they really need to start pulling up their socks. They need to really get their heads in the game and head back to the drawing board, because I feel like this isn't the OG that I was hoping and expecting to see. But let's go ahead and take a look at our Aces head-to-head with the 2 players of Neofrag. And you did mention it was Mirage for a reason, with none other than Mir.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal performance this whole match, and it was kind of weird as well, because he is the kind of player who doesn't necessarily have those flashy moments. He is just all throughout the entire series, he's just been collecting frags here, frags there, neo-frags a little bit. One neo-frag there, one neo-frag here, and that's why neo-frag has only managed to get 19 kills. But of course, neo-frag, he is a solid player. He had his moments, but in the end, when you have a beast on your side, newest addition to the Entropiq roster, Mir absolutely beasting.
Yeah, and if you look towards kind of the previous iteration of the Entropiq roster, when Lackey was the player in that helm, he couldn't quite find as much success and impact as Mir stepping in. And since he's come forward, he's been brilliant. I remember I got his first official for him, and he dropped 36 or something on Dust 2. And that's kind of what Entropiq are looking for. This guy who can always step up. Neofrag is a similar kind of favour. When he came from Sinners, he was always the big gun at Sinners, alongside the likes of Oscar, for example. But since coming into his OG roster, he hasn't found that form, I don't think. And everyone kind of thought thought Fiku would be the one who has slow performances because he's the young gun. But no, it's been nefrog has been slow, and that's what we saw today.
Well, on the topic of Fiku, over in the green room, that ninja defuse had my brain absolutely sent. I was yelling at the TV screen. So, Hedge, take me through how this one ultimately ended up unfolding.
Yeah, it all started really in mid with nefrog getting caught with his pants down, and then easy peasy the bomb site here for Entropiq. Not so easy is that Fiku actually gets into a position where towards the jungle where he can hear that at least two of the Entropiq players are now running away, trying to chase him. Entropiq, of course, they know Fiku is the B player, so they're not expecting him to be actually attempting it in a 1 versus 4 situation. He gets to take out the only defender left on the A side, who just in that very moment he pulls up on stairs, is in the transitioning between positions, which is kind of like a misplay, but the whole round there was brilliantly done by Fiku.
Yeah.
He knew like he had one shot, one opportunity. He went for it, and it actually paid off. And at the back of that kind of changed the game a little bit in more of favor of OG. I believe if Fiku hadn't been able to pull that one out of his butt, then this would have not been such a close scoreline in the end.
I feel like it was certainly a rookie mistake, though, when you start to think about it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that ends up happening in pug games when you're playing against random people. And from my perspective, at least, hunting for those kills, only allowing one player on the site, and then once they're gone, you're done for. I feel like it was most definitely a rookie mistake. But talk to me a little bit about our match stats here, Neo. Any players in particular you feel like gave us a little bit of an underwhelming performance, maybe?
Well, the big guy over towards Entropiq, Elian. I mean, he has always been the person you look to in terms of firepower, in terms of form, and I think since Entropiq started to make that conversation towards Tier 1, he hasn't quite found the same level of form that he had in Tier 2. In Tier 2, at one given point, he was seen as the best AWPer in Tier 2. There's no one who could touch him. No one was even remotely close. Even when the likes of Nikolos was playing, Oscar and towards Sinners as well, those are the kind of the big three in that conversation. But he had kind of sort of lacks that form and that firepower and that confidence, but that's where Mir steps up, and that's where they've kind of started to build this team around the success of certain individuals finding a lot of kind of those openings that provide space, essentially, and Elian is no longer the reliable factor.
Well, for the side of Entropiq, though, I feel like now that they have made it to playoffs, it gives them that little bit more extra time to kind of revisit things that might have gone particularly well for them, things they need to improve on, and ultimately do that extra little bit of prep against their upcoming opponents and the potential threats throughout the duration of ESL Challenger Melbourne here. On the side of OG, though, Hedge, how do you feel like OG are going to ultimately end up looking to kind of approach the remainder of this Group A?
I think that they need to really sit down and do their homework here. They have a matchup against the winner of Wings Up and EG, and that can, right now it's up in the air. That's a best of 3. We're going to see that later today. But I believe that Wings Up have a fair chance of winning that. Yeah. And that means that OG, who clearly hadn't done any preparational work on Wings Up, really needs to have their players and their support system sit down and watch some Wings Up demos in order to better prepare themselves for what is coming.
Yeah, I think they're underprepared. I think another thing that they slightly touched on, Flames mentioned it, was I feel like they really are jet lagged. I mean, they really are struggling. They've had a super busy schedule. I mean, they're playing blast groups literally all of like 2-3 days ago. They've traveled here. They've had one day to adjust to a completely different time zone. And I think you can sort of see it in their playstyle. They're like sloppy. Rookie errors are creeping into a kind of a team that very rarely do it. I mean, if you look even towards kind of their recent performances in the RMR Road to Rio, first qualification, they make it through. Looking towards blast groups, unbelievable performances, destroying Astralis, right? So this is a team who can play Tier 1, can play and destroy top 10 teams, but they're struggling against, well, definitely not top 10 teams. I think it's very much the case that they are not adjusted to the sleep schedule at all, and it's obviously showing.
I feel like if there was one game they absolutely had to win, it was that one matchup against Entropiq, because as you did mention, Wings Up put up a heck of a fight. Now, if they manage to successfully win versus the likes of EG, which is more than doable, more than possible, especially considering the fact that it's a best of 3, OG could be looking to be in hot water, to say the very least. But coming up next, we've got our final best of 1 matchup over in Group B. That is indeed going to be Imperial versus Pain. I'm so excited for this one. We'll catch you very soon.
Tell